Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included. Last episode, we were working on this setup over here using our anti-entropy thermonullifier with the electrolyzer to produce oxygen and hydrogen, and then use the hydrogen to cool the oxygen, and then send the oxygen around into our base for our duplicants to breathe. And the setup is working, it's doing its job. It's been running for about a cycle now since the end of the last episode. Everything seems to be running quite smoothly. Oxygen is still being pumped out, the pipes are still backed up and still full of oxygen, and the oxygen is still nice and cold, which is the entire point. So everything is working, but this can be done in a much more efficient manner using fewer gas pumps and hopefully using fewer gas pipes and gas bridges, because oh my goodness, is this ever a complete and utter mess of pipes and wires and all that stuff. So we are going to come back to try and tweak this a little bit in today's episode, but before we start working on that, there are a couple of other things around the base that I would like to try and sort out. The first thing is, of course, this natural gas generator that we set up a couple of episodes back. I do want to move this over to here. Right now, I believe it's even disconnected from the power grid. Yeah, I had to disconnect it because this wire was getting overloaded by the amount of juice coming out of the smart battery. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and first of all put down our new gas generator over here. We did start working on this a little bit in the last episode, and a couple of people in the comment section questioned the use of the hydro sensor, and my idea for the hydro sensor was to essentially do the same job as the Atmos sensor over on the right here with this gas pump, because the liquid pump does turn itself off when there is no liquid around, and so it's not going to keep using power even if there's no liquid. But much like with the gas pump, if there's a very small amount of liquid, it will turn itself on and use a disproportionately large amount of power to move a small amount of liquid, right? It'll move like a little tiny little portion, a little tile of polluted oxygen, polluted water even, and use quite a bit of power for that. And so while the hydro sensor is not strictly necessary, the pump will do its job without it. I think that we can eke out just a little bit more efficiency and save a little bit more power if we do have the hydro sensor here. And so what we can do now is we can go ahead and throw down the remaining mesh tile right about there. The rest of this is fully hooked up and ready to go. The liquid pipe goes all the way out, round and over to our polluted water reservoir over here, so that is all good. So once that guy is up and running, all we have to do is actually pipe over the natural gas. And as I mentioned previously, the way that we're going to do this is using the gas bridge technique. And so we're going to delete pretty much all of these pipes here, and also I guess this pipe here and here as well, and maybe even this one here actually, now that I think about it, because we want to have a bridge right about there, so that all of the gas will try and go through to the reservoir for cooking up on this side, but then if it can't, it will go over to the left and make its way all the way around over and to our natural gas generator. Whilst we wait for them to build that, Drecos are also a bit of an issue right now. The issue mainly is that they are cramped, and so I think we are going to have to either move or kill one of these Drecos. I think it would make sense to kill the Dreco that has the lowest chance of dropping a glossy egg, which right now looks like it might be this guy. We could also go for the oldest Dreco. This guy's quite young, he's only 18. But I think I will get rid of this guy. I'm really hoping that the rest of them produce some glossy Drecos before they die and then, replace themselves. Right now, because they're cramped, their reproduction rate is negative 100%, so they will not reproduce due to the fact that they are cramped, and so we really do need to get rid of at least one of those guys today. Another problem that we are having is chlorine and carbon dioxide. You'll see here, there is quite a bit of chlorine now at the bottom of the base. We did pretty well for the first 200 cycles or so at keeping chlorine out of the base, but right now it's not doing quite so well. You'll see that quite a bit of the base on the left hand side here, or really just the bottom left of the base in general, is submerged in either carbon dioxide, natural gas, or chlorine, all of which of course is not breathable for our duplicants. It's not a huge deal. They don't spend a ton of time down here. For the most part, they are right now, of course, because they're getting stuff done and building things, but for the most part, they don't spend too much time down here. But if left unchecked, it is going to slowly but surely make its way up the base and fill up more and more of our colony with carbon dioxide to the point where they might not be able to breathe. And so I think what I am going to do is set up another carbon skimmer over on the left-hand side here. This one made a lot more sense when we had our coal generators over in this room. Now that we've moved them over to this side, I think it makes a lot more sense to have a carbon skimmer, say, right about there, because all of the carbon dioxide produced in this area, and I think all of the machines here, apart from the hydrogen generator, do produce carbon dioxide. All of that carbon dioxide is going to slowly but surely sink down into this area here. And so what I think we will do is, if we go over to the plumbing tab, I think we will run over some of the sieved water, probably just along the ground like this. This pipe here is not strictly necessary anymore, but we can go ahead and just do something like this, and then just have this kind of run up. And I think this is going to be a lot easier for our duplicates to do instead of trying to go the other way around, because they can't quite reach that just yet. And then along the floor, and of course into this guy. That is, of course, not how I want to do that. If we do it like this, and then we can also, of course, just have that pump back into the reservoir with the polluted water, which we could, of course, just connect up to the pre-existing pipe right about there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break a hole in the floor temporarily, just so they can get down there and actually build this thing. It, of course, does also require power, and so we will actually not do anything, because apparently it's already hooked up, so that is perfect. And hopefully, over time, that will go ahead and get rid of some of the excess carbon dioxide that is around the base here. I am noticing these little red particle effects here, which tend to mean that we're getting a little bit on the hot side. Our coal generators are at 65 degrees Celsius right now. I don't know what their overheat temperature is. It's 75, so we might also want to look into potentially cooling down this room at some point. I'll give it a little bit of time, because I don't know if they are actually going to reach that 75 degrees Celsius. But if they do, then we could, of course, go ahead and just have another oxygen vent over on this side, so that some of the cold oxygen from our new setup actually comes over and is used in the cooling of our generators over here. That might be worthwhile. Hopefully they can reach this liquid pipe. They can indeed. Good stuff. I think I might have to... I was going to say unlock this door, but it looks like it is already unlocked, which is great. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and utilize a new trick that someone taught me in the comment section, and that is that we can, instead of locking a door, we can just go ahead and deny permission, so now nobody can go into or out of this door, essentially locking it for all intents and purposes, but we don't have to have a duplicate manually come over here and use it. We have, however, trapped one of our duplicates behind here, and so I will go ahead and open that. Hassan, if you could just not go... No. I would like both of you to not be on this side of the door, please. I would like you both to go that way, and then I'm going to deny permission for anybody to use this door. Okay, the reason why I've done that is because you'll notice that a lot of the chlorine in our base is coming from this area here. You know, they open this door, the chlorine moves up, then they open this door, the chlorine moves over, and then it sinks down, and the carbon skimmer can't get rid of it. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some of this tile here, and then if we have another door right here, they can then go get the exosuit and then come around into here. That is going to make it a little slow for anything to get done on this side of the base, simply due to the fact, I think I'm deleting pipes there, so let me select buildings and then these two. But that definitely is going to slow things down, because only one person at a time can get through here, but it should greatly reduce the amount of chlorine coming into our base. We could potentially add more Atmosuit docks here if we wanted to allow more people through. And that does remind me, that is something I probably will end up doing over here. Right now, we've only got 4 Atmosuit docks, which really does limit the amount of people that can go in and out of this area. And I think it's one of the key reasons why it took me so long in the last episode to actually get all of this new setup up and running, because we can only have 4 people over here at any given time, and that just leaves half of our duplicates sat twiddling their thumbs waiting to be able to go through and actually get some of that work done. So we will probably expand that out in today's episode as well. We'll throw down a tile there. It looks like one is missing. And I'm also going to throw down a bunch more storage bins. We're kind of getting to the point where we have maybe too many storage bins around the base, but they're all full up of stuff. And as I mentioned in a previous episode, it would be fantastic if we could clear out quite a lot of the debris that's all over the floor. That's going to greatly increase the decor of the areas, and then therefore increase the morale of our duplicates. That is the plan. And so back over here, let's go ahead and use some heavy watt wire to connect up our gas generator. And then we do also have to bear in mind that this guy needs the natural gas. So right now this is hydrogen. Okay, and I do want that reconnecting there. I did accidentally delete that. How are we going to get the natural gas over here? I assume that we're probably going to want to do it like this, kind of over the top, down, around, and then down like this. I think right now they probably can't reach this, and so we are going to have to dig out all of this area above our power room, like so they can actually build the tiles here and also build the pipes as well. And then this guy does also emit carbon dioxide, and so for now, I think we will just go ahead and do something maybe like... I guess it can go right there, right? I was going to say maybe put it over here, but the carbon dioxide is going to fill up in here, and then it's going to slowly but surely fall down into this area, much like everything else, and then get hopefully cleared up by the carbon skimmer. So we'll throw down some more tile there to actually let the carbon skimmer get its work done. They're going to go ahead and continue to dig that out over there. We do, of course, need to put down our gas bridge right about here, and then connect everything up like so and like so. And then whilst they're working on that, we can go ahead and delete these algae terrariums. We don't need those anymore, I don't think. Also, it looks like we might not need this vent either, so I'll go ahead and delete that. I'm also fairly certain, yeah, there are a few vents in here that we also no longer need, so we'll get rid of those as well whilst we're at it. And then, really, one of the main things that I do want to start working on now that we've got essentially oxygen taken care of, and also, for right now, we do have power seemingly taken care of as well. We're going to get a little bit of extra power from the hydrogen generator, a little bit of extra power from the natural gas generator, and we've still got a fair bit of coal. So right now, we're not really in crisis management mode when it comes to oxygen and when it comes to power. So what I would like to do is try and push us towards a situation where power is really never an issue. And I feel like the easiest way for us to do that is to potentially look to trying to find a natural gas geyser. If we can find a natural gas geyser, which essentially is one of these guys that pumps out endless natural gas, not only does that give us a source of unlimited power with more natural gas generators, but it also gives us an unlimited source of water, which we can of course use in the creation of our oxygen. So we find the natural gas geyser, we use all that natural gas in natural gas generators, the natural gas generators produce power, they produce carbon dioxide, and they produce polluted water. We use that polluted water to produce clean water with the water sieve, and then we use that clean water with the electrolyzer to produce hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is used by our duplicants, and the hydrogen is used for power. And so I think if we can get to that situation, we should be in a pretty good spot. We should be able to worry less about some of the core needs of our duplicants and of our colony going forward, and try and focus on maybe some of the bigger goals, like maybe digging up and trying to get to space, seeing what the star map tab over here is all about. I've not played with any of that yet. I have noticed this is getting very cold over here, 16, 17 degrees Celsius. We are going to redo this, as I mentioned earlier. When we do redo it, I might have to take into consideration how cold the oxygen that comes out is, because this might be too cold. You know, like 13 degrees is a bit chilly, and so we might have to rethink that a little bit. Let's go ahead and copy settings here. And real quick before I do though, I think right now we don't have abyssalite. Yes, so right now abyssalite is not stored anywhere, and we do have a fair bit of it, especially over in this area. A lot of what's on the floor, I think, here is abyssalite, and you'll notice if we hover over it, storage unavailable. They literally cannot sweep it up, despite the fact that I think this is like priority 9 sweeping. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and enable abyssalite on here, and then we will copy over this guy's settings and paste that to everything else. So all the way over here and all the way over here as well. Fantastic. We've got some sand and what looks like maybe, yeah, a few raw eggs on the ground as well. I'm pretty sure these are the hatchling eggs that we had previously. We've got so many stone hatchers now. There are 3 more stone hatchers in this room from the incubators. So much so that we probably want to start putting them in here. If we put our stone hatchers and our stone hatchlings in here, and then just get rid of the regular hatchlings, because as we mentioned before, there's really no need to keep regular hatchlings at this point in time. They just produce less coal than stone hatchlings do. So we should probably go ahead and attack the poor wild creatures, as it says on the tooltip there. I'm going to get rid of these guys. I'm also going to sweep up the egg here. We'll move that into storage, and then once that's done, we'll wrangle these 3, stick them in here, and that will be their new habitat that they live in from now on. They've dug out this wall here, but they've not built the mechanized door. Can I get this like a priority 8? Because our Drecos are escaping into the chlorine. And also, you know, the gas is kind of getting mixed up over here. I don't think it's a huge deal. Oh, we also do have a new glossy Dreco. Nice. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, actually. I don't know if it might have been cut out in the final like edit of the episode because it was just so long. But we did get glossy Drecos. We got our first glossy Dreco. Now we've got 2 glossy Drecos. And so we do have a little bit of plastic, I think, on the ground here now, which is fantastic. Can we get like a priority 9 wrangle on specifically our plastic Dreco? I don't necessarily even think we need this other guy back in here now, because I think if we have him in here as well as the new Dreco, then we're probably going to be cramped again. So priority 9, hopefully we can get him back in. There is a missing gas pipe right about here. Oh no, there's not. What is missing there? Gas output, no output. Why is there no output? That is connected just fine. Oh, this one's just not connected just yet. That's fine. Okay, that is a-okay. That should get taken care of. They should be able to build, I think, all of this. They do need to work here, and they currently cannot access this. So real quick, let's delete the actual generator. Let's delete the battery. We don't need that. We can delete these tiles here, and I'm going to delete all these tiles as well. It is going to cause a fair bit of spillage. We can also delete, actually, all of the automation here. We don't need that either anymore. Like I said, that is going to cause a bit of spillage that they are going to have to mop up, but that is fine. It should get the natural gas generator up and running, which is fantastic. I'm also going to put a second mechanized airlock right about here. The idea being that if we have one airlock, even though these guys are quite fast, I have a feeling that there's still a chance our Drekos can escape. With 2 airlocks, I think it's a lot more likely that the Dreko gets pushed back into the pre-existing room. So we'll have 2 doors there. I really don't want our Drekos escaping under any circumstances. I'm also going to set this guy to like priority, like yellow alert. I really want to get this guy back into the room if possible, guys. Can we like stick him at the critter drop-off? That would be great. And then also, whilst you're at it, if we could set this like second door to like priority 9 as well. And so back over on this side here, how can we go about making our setup for creating and cooling oxygen more efficient and better than it currently is right now? Well, the way we do it is by getting rid of these 2 gas pumps here. And instead of taking the oxygen and pumping it into the room, we take the oxygen, leave it in the pipe, and then just have the pipe move through this room, thus having the oxygen cool down as it passes through. In doing so, we save having to have like gas vents pumping oxygen into here, and we also save like collecting the oxygen once and then pumping it out only to collect it again. So I think I do want to make sure we got a good amount of oxygen in the base. And how are we doing? We're not doing great in terms of like keeping excess oxygen. We actually don't have any in this tank here, so I'm a little concerned that if we start messing with this, the oxygen around the base is going to start like dropping quite quick. Especially because I don't even think that we're at demand right now. Yeah, look at that. We've produced like 3 kilograms today and we've used 45. So, yes, we are not making enough oxygen right now. And I think that's due to the fact that power is an issue. Although it does also seem like there's a pipe blockage here. And I'm not quite sure why. Oh, it's because our hydrogen is completely full. Okay, so that's another thing that we do need to take care of. Our hydrogen right now is only being sent towards the thermonullifier. It's not having its excess sent over to the hydrogen generator. So I think I am going to go ahead, and before we do that, before we start any of that, let me think. I think I want to start, let me Alt-S here to get like a better look. I think I want to start trying to find this natural gas geyser. And the reason why I bring that up now is because if we can find an area that has algae, like a decent amount of algae, we can dig that out and also try and dig to find our geyser as well. There's a fair bit, like a little strands of algae over here. I'm mostly thinking about digging this way because looking at the abyssalite is of course the hardest metal or the hardest rock to dig through. And there's abyssalite all the way around the edges of each biome, right? So we really want to try digging out in straight lines off this ladder to uncover new areas of the map. The more map that we uncover, the more likely we are to find a natural gas geyser. It's quite possible that it's not even down here on our map, but this is the area that we've started to dig down into, and so we might as well explore this area before we start, digging elsewhere and setting up more water locks and exosuit points. So I think what I will do for now is potentially go and dig out the algae that's down here. This seems like it's going to be much easier to work with. And if we're sensible about our algae and we dig it like this, our duplicates can climb 2 blocks at a time here. We should be able to pretty much get it all. We don't need the coal, at least not just yet. And I think we'll also potentially have them dig out this algae as well. Again, only one person can come and get this right now due to the fact that only one person can go through this checkpoint. But I do want to make sure that we have algae available to us so that we can keep our oxygen flow going whilst we try and fix the future oxygen supply, right? So we don't need the gas pumps. We can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this, and I want to select all here. So we'll delete you, we'll delete you, we'll leave the ladders for now because we do need those. We're still going to keep the thermosensor and the NOT gate because just like before, we only want hydrogen being sent to the nullifier if the room is too warm. We want it, only being sent there so that it cools it down a little bit. We don't want the room to get too cold, otherwise our oxygen also ends up being too cold. We also need to fully empty this room out of oxygen. We don't have to, but if we do, we can actually transfer more coolness to the oxygen, if that makes sense. Essentially, if we fill the room with hydrogen, hydrogen has a higher thermal heat capacity. I think that's the right turn of phrase there. Let me check though real quick. Thermal conductivity. So hydrogen has a thermal conductivity of 0.18, whereas if we look at oxygen, this guy has a slightly lower thermal conductivity, quite a significantly lower thermal conductivity of 0.024. So 0.024 as opposed to 0.168, I think it was. And so essentially what that means for our purposes is that the hydrogen does a much better job of transferring heat. And so if this room is full of very, very cold hydrogen and we run oxygen through it inside of pipes, that hydrogen will soak up a lot more of that heat, thus cooling the oxygen in the pipes down faster than if this room was full of oxygen. So although it's not strictly necessary for us to fill this room with hydrogen, I think it is going to make life a lot easier if we do. So we probably maybe should have left one of these pumps in here, actually, now that I think about it. Like a gas pump here does allow us to slowly filter out the oxygen that's in the room. But essentially, the core premise here is that we have to... Oh man, this is I'm going to delete like a lot of what's here. Just because I feel like we have to almost start fresh with this. Not completely so, but like a lot of this does need digging up so that we can fix the setup. So we're going to have some of the hydrogen from here go into the gas vent. We don't need to get rid of the gas vent, nor the pipe going to the gas vent. We're just going to pump our hydrogen through it instead of our oxygen, thus filling this room up with hydrogen. Once it's full of hydrogen, we'll seal it off and we'll have pipes go through the room. And those pipes are going to carry our oxygen from the reservoir round and into the base, thus getting rid of the need for these two pumps here and thus saving us 480 watts worth of power, which is pretty big in our current setup where we're really only producing, you know, at most just over 2,000 watts of power. So having a quarter of it being used on these two pumps is not particularly great. So why are you offline? That is because this is disconnected. I think I am going to have to reconnect that real quick. I did accidentally delete that pipe. Oh no, there we go. Okay, cool. Cool. So I do want this door set to auto because otherwise the gas ends up just coming back in. I also think we are going to have to delete two of these blocks for a second here just so they can actually get into the area and start working on deleting some more of these pipes. So we'll do that as well. Is our exosuit station ready? It is. Can we schedule the creation of a couple more Atmo suits? We can. I'll schedule 3 more and then we will put down 3 more docks over on this side here. That does mean we have to ever so slightly decrease the size of our nature reserve, but I think that is fine. I don't think it really matters how big it is. It mostly just matters that it is a nature reserve. And then we'll throw down, if we've got the metal for it, we'll throw down a couple more exosuit docks here, and eventually where this door and whatnot is as well. And then we'll hook, of course, all of those up with power, which hopefully shouldn't be too difficult. That's not where you want to connect. Again, I keep doing it, but I've got to get into the habit of when I go to cancel something or delete something, specifying what I want to delete instead of deleting everything within a given block, which is exactly what I've been doing up until now. I was going to say we do have to, of course, make sure that our oxygen gets into here as well. And back over in stations, we'll put down, of course, that last dock right about there, thus allowing almost all of our duplicates to go over and work in that new area, which is fantastic. I see my pump here does not have power, and that is because, once again, I have deleted the wrong pipe. We'll connect that back up. Have you still not got water? You should. I might have to delete these pipes, potentially, but, like, I feel like this should be working now. Content's empty. It doesn't have any water in it. But the pipe is completely built. And the water is here. It's coming out of there, down to here. I'll delete these 2 pipes. I don't think we'll be able to delete this one. But we definitely can delete this pipe. Maybe if we delete the tile here, we can get down and delete that one. I don't know why that would be causing an issue, but it might be the reason why. I'm not missing anything, am I? I don't think so. I have the feeling... Oh, yeah, there we go. It was just that pipe. Okay. In that case, then, let's put the tile back in and continue to let that do its thing. That's going to start skimming carbon, finally, like 30 minutes into the episode. And so this looks like it has all been pretty much taken care of. It's still a bit of a mess, but that's fine. So let me see if I can get my head back around this here. We've got everything coming out through here. Oxygen is being sent into here, and the hydrogen is going over to here. Oxygen right now is going back up here. We can get rid of... actually, no, I guess we'll leave that there for now. We'll come back to that in a second because we do need to still pull oxygen out of the reservoir. But the hydrogen is going across and into here, and then everything that's not hydrogen gets pumped over into here. That is fine. The hydrogen then comes out into here. And so for now, we just want to make sure that the hydrogen actually goes back into the room. So we want to do something like this to pump the hydrogen from here into here. And also, I guess, into here. Eventually, we're going to get rid of this vent. Once the room is full, we're not going to need that there anymore, but we can just have that pipe there and get rid of the vent itself. We will, of course, put down the mesh tile again to make sure the room is fully sealed in. And it looks like we're doing okay here. I think hydrogen is going to be pulled out by this guy. It looks like, for the most part, we might be... I was going to say we might be okay to, like, get rid of the pump. I don't know, though. I will. Oop. We've trapped somebody. Gosh, why? Okay, priority yellow alert. Please come and save Nick. There we go. Why were you down there? There is no reason for you to be down there, my friend. Can we get like a priority 9 build on this tile so nobody else starts to suffocate? That would be fantastic. There we go. That is now working. So we should start to see a drastic decrease in the carbon dioxide. Specifically up here, it should start to slowly filter down and get taken care of. The tile has been built. Nobody's going to suffocate. Fantastic. That is all good. Okie dokie. Cycle 232. I think we are going to be best to get rid of this. Oh my goodness. Who is suffocating now? Why? Nicola, you madman. Why? Okay. Please delete this tile. Yellow priority. Nicola, my friend, please go breathe. I would like an immediate yellow priority on this tile here. No. There's nothing that you need down here. Anything that you think you need down here, you don't need it. No. What? Why? Do you wish to suffocate? Please? Somebody. Nope. I don't know what it is down there. Let me check real quick, actually. I'm going to move you again. But let me go and check. Is there like a priority 9? There's nothing down here. I've told them, like, there's no, unless they're, like, it's... I was going to say maybe there's like a storage bin that's set to priority 9 somewhere and they're going to, like, get something to put in a storage bin. But no matter what it is, surely the first task that you would do is the one that's like priority 10, right? That being, of course, the tile. Oh, they need the... Wait, what? They decided... Okay, I think the logic here... Move him out. There we go. Okay. I think the logic was that, although we do definitely have sandstone, almost certainly in the base, I think, yeah, we've got 36 tons of it somewhere. The logic was this was the closest bit of sandstone to here, so they would come, they would grab the sandstone, and they would build a tile, thus trapping themselves in. Okay. At least now I know why they decided to do that over and over again, but still, that was madness. Okay, so I decided to put a door here so that our duplicates can actually get in and out because they were spending a lot of... They couldn't get to certain pipe builds because of the fact that this was here. But now this room is going to slowly but surely fill with hydrogen. That hydrogen is going to leak out a little bit as we go here, but I think that's fine. And so essentially, all we have to do... We're going to get rid of a lot of what is here, actually. So let me, like, get rid of the automation. Like, all of that can go at least to stuff that's, like, up above here that was originally controlling the gas pipes. We'll get rid of those, and eventually we'll, of course, get rid of the ladders as well. But essentially, we're going to have our oxygen come from this tank, and I think we're going to use the radiant tanks here. The radiant tanks carry gas, allowing extreme temperature change with the surrounding environment, can be run through walls and floor tile. So if we use the radiant tile here, it's going to make it even easier for our oxygen to lose its temperature as it goes forward. So what we will do is we will have another gas bridge, because we need one right about here. Hopefully you can go from gas bridge to gas bridge. You cannot. So in that case, we'll do it like this, and we'll have it go here and then here. And in order to maximize surface area and to maximize coolness, what we can do is we can do something like this. We don't want it to actually connect up here, but imagine that's not there. We can do something like this and have kind of a radiator-style cooling loop that really tries to cool down the oxygen as much as possible. Now, the potential downside to this is that it might get too cold, although I think that we should have pretty much full control of that through our thermosensor. Right now, if it is colder than -1, which it is, it's like -5, -6, -7, but -11 there. But as the gas moves through, it's going to get warmer and warmer, and so we can essentially, using our thermosensor, tell the game how hot we want the room to be, right? So I'm hoping that shouldn't be an issue for us. It shouldn't, no matter how efficient we make the cooling, it should never get colder than we want it to get, hopefully. I will build the ladder here just so we can finally get rid of this, and this, like the remaining little pieces. We'll also get rid of the ladder once it's done as well, because the ladder does not need to be there. People did tell me that we can actually just get rid of the gas reservoir here. Like if we delete it, the gas comes out in canister form, kind of like with the water bottles that we had around the base, instead of coming out, like, instead of just like exploding out all at once and there being like 10,000 grams of all the different gases in this area here, which I think is good. That's sensible and will make life a lot easier if we decide to use it. I will now go ahead and, I guess we don't want to delete the ladders just yet. We want to build the pipes and then delete the ladders. So radiant pipe, and then I think I will, first of all, get that gas bridge down, like so. And using the radiant pipe, we will go ahead and make a pretty big radiator loop here that is going to hopefully do a very good job of cooling our oxygen right down, at which point we shouldn't have to worry about this filter here because there should only be oxygen in this area because everything else is being filtered out early on in the loop, which means we can get rid of this filter and all this nonsense over here and just focus on having the oxygen, which is going to go out for now, I guess, right about there. Although, actually, in the interest of symmetry, I kind of feel like I want it to go out right about there so that this is all kind of like on the same line. And then we'll just hook that up to this pipe here. We can get rid of pretty much everything else on this side, at least everything gas pipe related. And then we do also need to make sure that we figure out what we're going to do with the hydrogen, because of course the hydrogen does need to go into the thermonullifier, but then if there's too much of it, go elsewhere. And so I guess for that, we just use this here. Yes. Okay, so right now our setup does have a bit of redundancy in it. Eventually, though, the idea is that no other gas should end up in this room, right? There should only ever be hydrogen and oxygen in this room. And if a little bit of chlorine or a little bit of polluted water gets in there, it's not the end of the world. It might cause a bit of damage to one of our ammo suit docks. It might end up with a little bit of chlorine in the base. But I think what's going to be worth it more is not having to have the second filter so that we can just have oxygen come out here and the hydrogen go into here. And then we can have the input here, the input to the bridge that is here, inputs and outputs. If we just pull off of that and then like down and connect to this pipe and then use that pipe to connect to, you know, this pipe and then have that connect over to the hydrogen generator, I think that's going to be better. That way we can use less power with the filter and we can also more easily get our hydrogen to where it needs to be. So I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to wait for them to finish this. They're doing a pretty good job. And it also looks so much better, like with the gold pipe here and the hydrogen all in the background there. I like this. We can probably go ahead and delete the gas vent, although I'll wait until they're done because hydrogen is going to escape out as they're building stuff here, so we'll wait until they're like fully finished before we turn it off. We are going to have to unlock these doors, which does of course mean that there's a possibility that things other than hydrogen and oxygen make their way in, but we'll do that. We'll mop up the area because again, somehow more water has appeared. And then once that's done, we can actually, start to work on this side. We'll get rid of the filter there. We'll also delete some of this piping like so. And yeah, we essentially just want the gas pipe to go from here straight down and into there like that. And then, oh, did I delete the, oh no, that's not right at all. Cancel that. Never mind. My bad. Delete that. What we want to have is the bridge that we've just deleted right about here, like so. And then a pipe that goes there and down like that. And like that. Perfect. So the oxygen and the hydrogen comes in. The oxygen gets filtered out into here. There is a missing gas bridge there as well. I don't remember deleting that one, but I will replace it down like so that everything can continue to move. And then the hydrogen, of course, is going to come out of the output slot, go into the tank, and then it's going to come out of the output slot of the tank. And then it's going to try and go this way first to get to the thermonullifier. If it can't, once this pipe is backed up, it's then going to go over to the hydrogen generator, making sure that we never have too much hydrogen that it blocks the whole system like it did just mere moments ago. I don't think it matters. Did I set these to open? I didn't mean to do that. I meant to set these to auto, you fool. I should never set them to open because then I can't use the door trick to lock them. So we will change that. This is apparently online again. Let me check my automation wire real quick. So this is currently set to off, and thus hydrogen shouldn't be going through. There's already hydrogen here, which I think is the reason why this is happening, but once we get this online, the hydrogen should stop going through, hopefully. I have also noticed that this line here is getting quite strained, and so now that we're using significantly fewer devices on this line, what I think I might do is just do something like this. Delete this wire, and I guess in that case we could delete all this wire. But if we just hook up this electrolyzer essentially to this upper level of power, I think that will work out better and hopefully cause less strain, because right now we've got all of these on this same line with the pump and everything else, so there's really not the available power in this bottom section. Hopefully now this is fine. Max gas pressure is also fine. That's to be expected right now. Things are not moving, and I think that might just because of like a missing pipe somewhere or like a pipe that's not connected. So real quick, I'm just going to try and do this, although I don't think it's going to work. I think we might have to like delete the pump and like delete the filter even, sorry, and then replace the filter down to reconnect everything again. This guy is full, and it should be coming out and across here, but for whatever reason, this doesn't seem like it's wanting to work, although maybe I didn't put in a connection pipe here, but I think I did. Yeah, I'll delete the filter. Oh, this is not right. No, do not do that. I don't know how that's managed to happen. Priority immediately, please. Thank you. We are going to have to delete this. That's pumping. That's fine. Actually, I guess we have to delete that then. It is pumping oxygen in here, which is not what we want, but a little bit of oxygen in there is not going to be the end of the world. It will go out as the door gets open because the hydrogen, of course, is lighter here. Let's try and fix that real quick. So gas filter is going to go back down right about there. That should already connect. This should connect. This should be connected. And then that should connect. Hopefully this will work this time. For whatever reason, this pipe here was connected to this pipe, but not to the bridge. So we'll see how that works. I would like you to filter out oxygen. And, of course, be hooked up with power as well. Okay. Okay, I think I need to replace the bridge here. The game is a little weird sometimes like this, where I don't know if it's because I've placed this down wrong, or if there's maybe like another factor at play here, but sometimes it feels like some things just kind of break. It's almost certainly my fault. We'll see if that can fix it. If they can replace the bridge there, hopefully that will actually finally allow the oxygen to get out of here and into the pipe network. We do, of course, need a pipe over on... Oh, no, wait, I'm a fool. It's definitely my fault. And there's me blaming the game. I apologize, Clay. You make a perfect game, and I'm out here making excuses as to why my stuff's not working. The reason it's not working, guys, is because the gas has got nowhere to go. Until the gas has somewhere to go, it's not going to go through the pipes. So right now, you can't just come out at the end here. It needs a vent or it needs to go somewhere. So, my bad there. Let's insert the pipe like so. We can delete this pipe and we can cancel this pipe. And then once they've built this, we should finally have the system back online. Let me just check real quick that is correct. It is... Yes, that is correct. I was looking at these reservoirs real quick, thinking they were these ones. But no, I think this is right. I don't think we need this reservoir anymore, the one for the second lot of hydrogen. So we can actually go ahead and delete this pipe. Yep, and then we can also delete these pipes. These are not needed, as neither is that pipe either. And then our hydrogen is going up and then out. Yep, so we can connect up the gas pipe like so. That's going to run along. It's going to connect up like so. We can delete this pipe as well. We'll set that to priority 9. Otherwise, there's going to be hydrogen in the exosuits, which is not what we want. That's going to continue along, down, across. And again, we want to delete this pipe here and reconnect it up like so. And that should continue along all the way over to the hydrogen generator. Okay, fantastic. And we do have quite a bit. Oh, we don't have any backed up hydrogen. Now it's all made its way into this room here. But how well is this working? It looks like our nullifier is offline, which is good. And the hydrogen should be being backed up, but we'll check that in a second here. That's good. Let's check, though, real quick on the gas front here. So the temperature of the gas when it is pumped out here is 5.4, 6.2. And then as it moves through here, you'll see that it rapidly loses temperature to the point where it's at negative 13 degrees Celsius by the time that it leaves. That is very, very cold. You'll see it's working fantastically. We're just waiting on this pipe here, and then these guys should come back online. At which point, there we go. We'll get to actually see this guy in full force. There is polluted oxygen in here. And again, I am now going to go ahead and turn this off, essentially locking that door so that our duplicants cannot go through anymore. For now, you can see the polluted oxygen is ending up in different locations. We do need to delete this gas vent. So we'll deconstruct that. Priority 9. It's actually fine for now because all of the non-hydrogen and oxygen is being put into this room, which is better than it being down here. We are going to have a brief amount of time where this area over here might get way too cold, although it's heated up again while the oxygen's been gone, so that is fine. And the algae terrariums have done a pretty good job at keeping everything going whilst we've been setting this up. And I think finally our setup is good to go. So the hydrogen is slowly but surely backing up over here. These guys are on almost all of the time. We really want the electrolyzer to be on as much as possible. It does get hot, but the area around it should cool it down quite nicely. And I think, guys, we have now a much better setup than we had previously. It requires less power. It cools down better. We could get even colder if we wanted to, although we definitely don't at this moment in time. But now you can see the hydrogen can no longer go up past the vent, and so it's going over slowly but surely. It does have quite a trek to get over here, but it's going to make its way over to the hydrogen generator. Fantastic. So this is now doing exactly what we want. We do, of course, still need to hook oxygen up to this dock, and we also potentially need to hook oxygen up over here as well. Although these generators have all turned themselves off now, which is good. I wonder why they were on so much, like why they got so hot previously. It might have been the carbon dioxide, like there was so much of it before, and now there's nowhere near as much because it's all been filtered out by the carbon skimmer down here. Like there's almost no carbon dioxide over here anymore, and this area over here should slowly but surely filter down. It might be a tricky job because there's not much in the way of airflow tiles down here, but that does remind me. People did point out in the comment section, Isaac, you fool, why have you not been using airflow tiles in the bedrooms? And that's a good question. Previously, there was a bit of a fear about floral scent. One of our rooms did have the flower in it that produced the floral scent, and Mima is allergic. But now there's no reason not to have it. It's just going to help in getting oxygen into our rooms. And I think, guys, that is pretty good. We didn't get into looking for the geyser. I'll try this real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig. I guess we'll just build and dig simultaneously. I'm going to build kind of over in this direction, and then we'll do something like this. That's a bit too high. We'll do something like this. I want to try and see if we can just kind of find anything. Like any geyser at all would be interesting. The reason I'm choosing this pathway specifically, by the way, is just because it's like the only bit that doesn't cut through abyssalite, and the abyssalite is a pain to dig through. It doesn't need to be 3 tall. It just needs to be 2 tall, enough for them to actually get about. There's also some gold here as well, which is always good. We do need gold wherever possible. So we'll dig out to here and we'll see if they can find anything over there. And then next time when we come back, we'll start looking at digging out maybe over like in this direction, trying to uncover like this bit. And then we could always continue down with this ladder to see if we can find anything down there. And then if push comes to shove, we can start looking around at the higher levels of our base. And I feel like this face that we've got going on here is kind of looking more like maybe an old woman than just like a normal person. They've got like this kind of tied up bob of hair at the back here. You know, still got the eyes, still got the nose, got a bit of a chin going. I like it. I like it. Okay. Once again, we seem to have trapped one of our duplicates. Let's, like, priority 1,000,000. Please come and fix this. Thankfully, somebody... Oh, no, please. Also, I guess just, like, dig here, actually. That is going to release water out into the oil, but it's not like our oil is not already full of water. So, yeah, this is more water than it is oil at this point. We're going to have to dig deeper and find, like, another pocket of oil to, like, maybe this one to actually pump out of. This one seems like it might be, we can still pump the crude oil out of here, but it's just going to be, you know, also have water in it unless we filter out the water as well. But nevertheless, they're going to continue digging this way. As always, I'm kind of keeping an eye out. Oh! He's done it! It's a tiny little pocket. It's not particularly big. And there's some neutronium on the bottom there. Oh my goodness. Huh. I'm surprised about that. I don't know if I was misinformed. I really thought they only spawned in like these biomes, or maybe even in like these biomes. I didn't expect it to spawn in the swamp biome. But that is super cool. Now that we've got a natural gas geyser, now that we've found one down here, skilled operation required. I think we do have, I didn't mean to select that very end research there. Now that we've got that going, I think it's actually a pretty easy one. Like field research, I think is all we need to actually operate this geyser here. So next time we'll come back, we will likely redo this pathing here because this pathing is not particularly good. I'll cancel it for now. We don't need to be doing any of this, but we'll dig out probably along here, try and make like a pathway that gets to it. We could even look at potentially getting a transit tube that comes down here if we get enough plastic, although I feel like we've got nowhere near enough plastic yet from our 2 glossy Drecos. But we'll try and start harvesting this and see if we can't, you know, put all of this natural gas to good use, set up some more natural gas generators, use the polluted water to continue our setup up here. But for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode of Oxygen Not Included there. As always, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more Oxygen Not Included, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.